For another book. This one just so happens to be a book about some of my favorite things, which are gardening and seeds and fruits and vegetables. And I love this book. It has beautiful illustrations. So I wanted to share this one with you. But A Seed is Sleepy is written by Diana Hutz Aston and illustrated by Sylvia Long. The inside cover page is pretty neat. It shows you all different kinds of seeds, some which you might be familiar with, like a pumpkin seed, a strawberry seed, although they're not that big when we see them. Some you might not even know about. This one is called a date palm. There's a dandelion. You've probably seen one of those. This one you might be familiar with. A lot of people like to eat sunflowers as well as corn. Here's a bean, one type of bean that you might know. Here's a blueberry seed. It's neat to get to see what all these seeds look like in comparison with each other and how some of them are long and skinny. Some of them are wispy and fly on the air. This is a kookaburra. This will get attached to your clothes and you have to pick it off, or if you have a dog or a cat, they'll get attached in their fur. This one looks like a snail. So it's really cool to see all the different types of seeds that there are and the way that they are shaped. A seed is sleepy. A seed is sleepy. It lies there, tucked inside its flower, on its cone, or beneath the soil, snug, still. This is a sunflower. It's an up-close version of a sunflower, and there are all the seeds right there in the sunflower. A seed is secretive. It does not reveal itself too quickly. This is the Texas mountain laurel pod, and this is one individual seed from there, and look what it turns into. What a pretty flower. Most seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for the warmer temperatures of spring, but some take their time. 10 years might pass before the bright red-orange seed of the Texas mountain laurel shows its purple blooms. Wow. This is a Texas barberry, naranjito, blueberry, papaya. This is wild coffee, an Indian almond, a turpentine broom. That's the one with the what looks like a snail. And this big thing right here, this is called a devil's claw. I wonder what that looks like when it blooms. A seed is fruitful. 90% of the plants on earth are flowering plants. Flowering plants produce fruits, like a strawberry. Fruits of all shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the right place to go. I like papayas. Who would guess that a seed as small as a freckle would grow into the world's tallest tree? Only 10% of redwood trees begin as seeds, though most redwood trees spring from existing trees. A seed is naked. Yes, naked. Scientists call them gymnosperms, seeds that aren't clothed in fruits, naked seeds. Most naked seeds hide themselves on the scales of cones, like this one, until they're ready to make a dash for the ground. And here is an illustration of the coast redwood. And you'll notice this, the gauge here, that's 350 feet tall. Imagine it started out as from one of the world's smallest seeds. Seeds come in many sizes. The orchid seed is the smallest of all. There might be 1 million seeds in one pod. The seed of the Coco de Mer palm is the largest, and it can weigh up to 60 pounds. So here's an example of the orchid and how they get dispersed in the wind. And then is Coco de Mer. This is the one that can get up to 60 pounds. It's huge. A seed is adventurous. Here's milkweed, hopseed. This is a Japanese maple leaf, and these are the seed pods that come off the Japanese maple. Here's what a milkweed pod looks like. You might know a dandelion. A seed must strike out on its own in search of a less crowded place to put down roots. A parachute of fine, silky hairs can take a dandelion seed 100 miles from its parent plant. Drift seeds float on ocean currents from one shore to another. So here's some examples of drift seeds. This is called an ear pod. Mary's bean. This is a sea heart in a monkey ladder pod. This is a swamp swamp palm. These seeds have enough air inside of them to help them float. Hamburger bean, that's funny. Sea coconut, black palm, monkey's comb, hog plum. And their thick protective shells keep out seawater. A seed is inventive. To find a spot to grow, a seed might leap from its pod or cling to a child's shoestring. There's a kookaburra. You might see those. Cockleburrow. Or tumble through a bear's belly. A seed hopes to land where there's plenty of sunlight, soil, and water. Red huckleberry. A seed is generous. It gives the baby plant or embryo a seed coat to keep it warm. Here you have the life cycle of what looks like a bean here. 5 weeks to get a bean pod. This looks like rice. 4 months to get rice from it. A pumpkin seed is what we have here. It takes 4 months there. Slash pine is what this tree is called, and it takes 8 years to become an adult. And then this last one is a teak tree, and it takes a year. Here is a picture of inside a seed. The embryo's first meal comes from its seed leaves, or cotyledons. Seeds with 1 seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots. Seed with 2 seed leaves, like beans, are called dicots. Some seeds are ancient. Here's date palm. Not all seeds are eager to germinate. Some have lain dormant or slept undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. The oldest known seed to sprout came from an ancient date palm tree after it was unearthed from a long ago king's mountaintop palace in Israel. A scientist planted it, and 4 weeks later, it sprouted. That's pretty cool. A seed is thirsty and hungry. This is a bean seed. Part of the seed, the root, feels the tug of gravity and digs down deep. Once the seed has shed its coat, it drinks in the rain, the dew, and yesterday's icicles. It feasts on minerals in the soil. This is corn. Another part of the seed, the shoot, is sensitive to light, so it reaches to the sun. A seed is clever. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Inside plant leaves are cells containing chemicals that absorb sunlight. Light gives them the energy they need to turn water and carbon dioxide, a gas in the air, into food. It knows to seek sunlight, to push itself up through the soil, but it must wait a while before that happens. A seed is sleepy, but only until it has found a place in the sun and it has had its breakfast and a drink of water. Then a seed is awake. Aren't those pretty? And then here are examples of all the plants. There's the devil's claw that we looked at. Here are examples of all the plants that these seeds come from. Monkey's ladder. That's funny.
Boys and girls, Miss Hudgens here. We just got finished reading the book A Seed is Sleepy, and I thought it would only be appropriate to show you what happens when a seed decides to wake up. So I'm going to take you down to my vegetable garden. Come on. So we're down here in my main vegetable garden, and at the time that I'm filming this, it is late August, and so we still have a lot of summer vegetables going on. We've had quite a bit of rain over the past couple of days, so it is very humid and very warm, and these vegetables are loving it. Now, all of the things that I have in my garden were all planted by seeds that I started way back, some of them way back as late as February, some of them as early as just 2 or 3 weeks ago. But what happens when you plant a seed, it grows and grows and grows, and then you get food from it. Food that either you can eat, or maybe you can feed the birds or even the bees, like the ones right over my shoulder right there. Those are my honeybees. But here are some examples of things that I grew from seed. Green beans. These are fresh green beans, just picked. See, green beans. Does anybody like cucumbers? There's an example of a cucumber. What about a tomato? A tomato fresh off the vine. Now, I don't know about you, but these are one of my favorite vegetables, and I know it's not for everybody, but they're my favorite. Do you know what these are? This is okra. Okra grows very, very tall. My okra plants right now are as tall as me. But sometimes I planted seeds and they're not for me to eat, but I planted them for my bees, or I planted them for the birds to take part of, like sunflowers and other flowers that I have. Now, some of you might be interested in doing something like this, and based on the time of year, you can plant different things during different seasons. So the summer, you plant things like green beans and cucumbers and tomatoes. But in the fall, which we're getting ready to go into, you'll plant things like cabbage and beets and things like that. Now, you may have never tried any of those, but they're actually really, really good and really healthy for you. Now, if this is something that you think you might like to try, I want you to contact me. Email me, please, because I have lots and lots of seeds. You know, different people have different collections, and I collect seeds because I know they're going to grow into something yummy, like this green bean, that one day me and my family are going to have the opportunity to eat. This afternoon, I'm taking a whole bunch of tomatoes that I grew along with my peppers. Here's an example of a bell pepper that I grew. But we're gonna take our tomatoes and we're gonna make them into salsa. So we'll have chips and salsa to eat for taco night on Tuesday. If this is something that you like, let me know. I would be more than happy to share my seeds with you, and maybe you can start a garden on your own. I'll be happy to help you every step of the way and tell you exactly what you need. So, something for you to try if you're interested. Let me know. Bye.